Alright guys, Jack here, JBF Music and Guitar Lessons. What I've got for you today is a quick lick from Jeff Beck, specifically the awesome slide guitar intro to Nadia. Before we crack into it, I'm in E standard, the original is in E flat. This is just to save you tuning down for the sake of one lick. The basic notes for the melody are these. But the real magic comes in from the slide and all these lovely microtones. If you're curious as to what this guy is, the link is down in the description. In a nutshell, it's exactly what it looks like. It's an incredibly stealthy ring slide. There's mass at the top for sustain and a little clip, so it doesn't matter what size your finger is, it's going to fit. It makes playing songs like this where you go between slide playing and regular playing much more easy. In the past I've used smaller slides and it just means one finger's out of action for the entire song. This, you've still got tons of mobility, but very importantly without sacrificing that sustain and tone. Okay, let's get into the nitty gritty of it. In terms of the tone, I'm on my bridge pickup, but I've got the tone pot rolled down to maybe about 3. My volume's probably somewhere around 8, maybe 7, something like that. Obviously your guitar will sound different. I'm just going through a Marshall style amp, compressor on their front, a bit of a drive, and just a ton of delay because that's how Jeff Beck does it. Ideally you want to start off with a volume swell and a slide in to that 5th fret on the B string. As a side note, I've got this bit here to lift up the strings so the action isn't quite as low, and in true Jeff Beck style I'm playing with my fingers. To help keep things cleaner, you can pretty much rest a finger, your middle finger for example, on the E string, your thumb on the G, and then just pluck the B string. These will be muted out so there's no chance of the sliding on them by mistake, which to be fair with this slim profile is much less likely anyway. That's what you're doing, slide into that 5th fret on the B string. You probably want to use your finger more or less as a reference point, so if that's in line with the fret, it's probably going to be more or less in tune. Slide in all the way up to the 10th fret, then down to the 8th. You maybe want the 10 to be a tiny bit sharp for the kind of exotic feel that it gets. And we're going to do a really similar move. We're going to slide all the way up to the 13th fret, and then down to the 10. So far you've got final thing is to slide from here up to the 14th fret and add on a nice slow controlled vibrato. You want to do this by hitting the string just once, so this is where you want to tweak with your guitar setting because you might find out you run out of sustain by the time you get to the 14th fret, but you can always just pluck the string again, it's not the end of the world. So pluck it once. The second part we're going to start off by sliding back into that 14th fret. Up to 15, back down to 14, and up to 17. So you have. Then comes the tricky part. So it's basically playing these notes, but with the slide. So you're going to slide quickly, 15 to 17, very quickly down to 14 to 15. So this second part so far. Then sliding down immediately to the 13th fret, down to the 12, down to the 10, and you pluck it once more at the 10. So again, we want most of the second part of the lick to be just on one hit of the string. So you're hitting it once, slide from the 13, down to the 12, down to the 10, where you hit it again, tiny bit of vibrato to wrap up. So that second half. Feel free to hit the settings clog and slow things down if these go by a bit too quickly. And if you don't intonate the notes perfectly, especially during this part, it's not too bad. As long as you get the gist of it, it'll sound good. And on that note, where you start to hear the microtones, where you start to hear, you maybe want this note to be a little bit sharp, maybe want this one to be a tiny bit flat. Trust your ears on that one. For me, I maybe hear this one a tiny bit sharp, This one a tiny bit flat. These ones pretty much on. Then this part, that one's maybe a tad sharp. I maybe play it a bit sharp. Then these ones, as close as I can get them. And that part probably a tiny bit flat here. And then back into pitch for that last note. So if you want to get into slide playing but don't like the feeling of your finger being trussed up in a cast, then check out the link below. Tabs are on Patreon, click subscribe to keep up to date with the channel, more slide and Jeff Beck videos there, but cheers guys, and have a good one.